It was a Monday morning in August, and the Manchester United squad were going for a 13.8 kilometre run. And if that seems like a very specific distance for a run, that's because it was. The day before, Manchester United had lost 4-0 to Brentford, and by the time the data came out in the wash, it transpired that the Brentford team had collectively run 13.8 kilometres more than their counterparts. To impress upon his players the importance of intensity to the style of football that he wanted them to play, the Manchester United coach, Erik ten Hag, was making them run the same distance on their day off. And he wasn't excusing himself from the blame. The Dutchman joined in. Now, hearing a story like this, it's tempting to equate running distances with success. It seems natural that the team who runs more has some sort of advantage over their opponents. But is there actually any truth to this? Do running distances actually matter in football? So, at the outset, it's important to emphasise that there is no correlation between running more than an opponent and beating them. In the 2020-21 season, Leeds United, a team known for their intensity in recent years, went on a run of 30 consecutive games where they outran their opponents in the Premier League. In terms of results, though, the outcomes were varied. Over the course of this run, Leeds managed 13 wins, 14 losses and 3 draws. So, simply running more than the opposition is not a cheat code for football. So instead, what do running distances tell us? Well, like every metric in football, running distances need to be contextualized to help us understand what we can learn from them. And there's an important rule of thumb to apply here. In general, a team who runs more than an opponent will have less possession than their opponent. And this makes a certain amount of sense. When one team has the ball, their opponent will have to shift as a unit to make sure that they don't leave any space to be exploited. In these scenarios, the kilometres soon add up, and so whenever thinking about running distances in a game, it's worth comparing the physical data against the possession data to assess how the game unfolded. If there is a possession discrepancy between the side doing the running and their opponent, then this could suggest that there was a play-style battle taking place between the two teams. The fact is, not every football team will attempt to win the game with the ball. Early in the 2022-23 season, Leeds United managed to turn Chelsea over 3-0, running 11 kilometres more than Thomas Tuchel's players in the process. According to the possession data though, Chelsea saw 61% of the ball to Leeds' 39%. Notably, Jesse Marsch's Leeds United play a form of gegenpressing football where possession is less important than moving the ball into areas where a counter-press can be sprung, producing moments of defensive destabilisation for the opposition, which can be exploited through direct attacking. If a team with an aggressive counter-press are to win a game, the odds are that they'll be running more than their opponents. But if they lose, the same will also be true. So running distances don't really tell us anything qualitative about the way that a team is playing. Suffice to say, we can't learn about whether a team is playing well from the running data. They only give us quantitative information, how much running a team is doing. To move from the quantitative to the qualitative, we need to add more layers of data. But that doesn't mean to say that running hard and long isn't beneficial to a football team. There has been some academic research that shows the advantages of running in football. A 2021 paper in the International Journal of Sports Science and Coaching found a strong relationship between running performance and the probability of scoring the first goal in a game of football. Interestingly, this relationship was strongest for total running distance compared to high-speed, sprint or in-possession running distance. It's worth noting though that this study was based on a sample of 302 games from the Bundesliga in Germany from between 2011 and 2017, and so any statistical significance might be specific to the German top division at that time. A 2012 paper in the Journal of Sports Sciences, this one focusing on 360 goals from the 2007-8 Bundesliga season, found that the most common actions for players scoring were straight sprints. 45% of the goals scored in the dataset consisted of this type of action. Of these, around 67% of sprints were conducted without an opponent contesting for the ball. So running distances may not correlate with the chances of success, but it's clear that running may well lead you to a greater chance of scoring. However, even here there is data to the contrary. In 2018, Bobby Gardner wrote a piece for The Ringer titled "Messi Walks Better Than Most Players Run." In this article, he showed how Lionel Messi bucked the trend of running distances, raising a player's chance of productivity in front of goal. Looking at data from the 2017-18 Champions League, Gardner found that Messi ran comfortably less than any other elite attacker, averaging just less than 5 miles per 90 minutes. By way of comparison, Thomas Müller, who put up a lower number of goals and assists per 90 minutes than Messi in that iteration of the Champions League, ran closer to 7 miles per 90 minutes. Using data from another paper given at the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference in Boston in 2018, Gardner suggested that Messi's lower running distance numbers were actually the result of him being able to control space through walking rather than running. So, running is clearly a fundamental aspect of football. But as with so many things within the game, it's not simply enough to do it. You have to do it well. As players get increasingly better at the off-ball side of the game, we are seeing more and more pressing teams beating opponents who look to possess the ball. But that doesn't mean that every team that puts up a higher volume of running distance will always overcome their opponents. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and Rafa Honigstein. There are journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.